Hello dear students. So today we will start the next chapter of your syllabus, that is natural resources. So let's look what are natural resources. As you know, in order to sustain the life of any living organism, there are some basic requirements that must be fulfilled. And the resources that provide us with all these basic requirements to maintain the life of an organism in nature are known as natural resources. So, if you see what are natural resources, the resources in nature that fulfill but the basic needs of an organism to maintain life are known as natural resources. And the basic needs of all living organisms are fulfilled from three important natural sources. The first one is land or soil, and this part of the nature is known as lithosphere. Then another requirement of water is fulfilled by hydrosphere, and the third requirement of air is fulfilled by atmosphere. So lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, they all three combine together to make life possible on earth. So lithosphere is all the land, and if you talk about hydrosphere, all the water in any form, whether in fresh water or saline water, whatever it is, you know about 75% of the earth's surface is covered with water. That is a different fact that out of that 75%, the usable freshwater resources are very small and day by day are depleting, which is a major concern of worry. So another one is atmosphere. It provides us air to stay alive, and all the three combine along with the living organism plus lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere along with living organisms, it makes biosphere. So what is biosphere? Biosphere is a region where life survives along with interaction of all the three spheres, hydrosphere, atmosphere and lithosphere. And it is very interesting to see that in all our solar system, or even you say in all the universe, Earth is the only planet where life is capable of surviving. So why life survives on Earth? It is because of the proper condition of temperature, proper availability of water, proper availability of atmosphere that makes the life possible on Earth. So why life on Earth only? It is due to proper conditions of temperature, water and proper ratio of atmosphere. So all these appropriate conditions that make the life possible on Earth are known as ambient condition. As you know, The temperature of earth is ambient, means bearable to living organisms, neither very high nor very low. Again, if you talk about atmosphere, atmosphere is having a proper ratio of various gases. Here only we have oxygen 21%, which is very essential for survival of all living organisms. On the other hand, if you talk about the planets like Venus and Mars, the atmosphere is rich of carbon dioxide, 95 to 97% of carbon dioxide, which makes life impossible there. And also, availability of water in liquid form is another important reason because of which the life exists on Earth. So, all these factors that make the life possible only on Earth, not on any other planet. So, if you look at the biosphere is further divided into two components. One is abiotic component and another one is biotic component. So, in biotic component, it includes all living organisms, whether plants or animals, unicellular or multicellular, they make biotic component of the earth, right? So, starting from the simplest unicellular organism to all the complex multicellular organism, that all makes a biotic component of biosphere. Abiotic component, as the name shows, it is non-living component of the biosphere. And this non-living component includes like land, water, soil, rain, etc. Right? So, they become the abiotic component of the atmosphere. And as we have started the chapter to study about the natural resources, so let's have a look towards these further classification of natural resources. These natural resources have been classified in various classes on the basis of their availability in present time as well as in future. So, on that basis, all the natural resources have been classified into two categories. One is inexhaustible So, inexhaustible resources are those, as the name shows, these are the resources that are never going to get exhausted. They will always remain with us. For example, you can talk about air, water, sunlight, winds, etc. Right? On the other hand, you have inexhaustible resources. And again, as the name shows, exhaustible resources means one day or another they will be exhausted, right? So, these exhaustible resources are further of two types. One is renewable, another one is non-renewable. Renewable means, again, as the name shows, these are the resources that can be regenerated or redeveloped or reformed. Now you will say, if these are reformed, why are they exhaustible? Because their mode of formation is very slow as compared to their mode of consumption. If we can manage a judicious way of using these resources, they can be made inexhaustible. Otherwise, they are exhaustible. For example, you can talk about like forest, wildlife, groundwater, etc. So, if they are ensured a judicious use of all these resources, these resources will stay with us for a very long period of time. But on the other hand, non-renewable resources are the resources that will be consumed one day or another, how judiciously we use them, right? For example, the mineral contents in the earth are exhaustible. There is a limited amount and one or day or other they will be exhausted. On the other hand, you can talk about the fossil fuels like coal and petroleum are another examples of exhaustible and non-renewable resources, right? So after introduction to these resources, here we first start with the first most important natural resource, and that most important natural resource is air, which is present around us in the form of atmosphere. So what is atmosphere? Atmosphere is what? It is a gaseous envelope surrounding the earth. And this air is also known as breath of life, as it is essential for maintaining the life on earth, right? If you look at the components of our atmosphere, it contains about 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and 1% of other gases including carbon dioxide, etc. So in this 1%, around 0.3% is carbon dioxide, right? So that is how, and it's very interesting that the composition of the Earth's atmosphere almost remains constant, especially when we talk about the amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. Nowadays it is heard that atmospheric carbon dioxide is increasing to a great extent because of again human activities, but otherwise the nature has provided us a very good method for maintaining the percentage of carbon dioxide in the air constant, and that was, if you look at the consumption of carbon dioxide is basically used in three major activities. The first one is the respiration by all living organisms, whether plants and animals. It produces carbon dioxide. Another way of production of carbon dioxide is use of fuels that we use for various purposes. We use variety of fuels for various purposes, and combustion of all these fuels is responsible for release of carbon dioxide. And the other way is the formation of various industries, or especially if you talk about natural ways, then the forest fires is also a source of increasing carbon dioxide in atmosphere. Besides that, the carbon dioxide content in atmosphere is almost kept constant because of two major activities. First one is photosynthesis by green plants, and another one is that carbon dioxide is used by marine organisms to develop a calcium carbonate shells around them. So these two activities, out of these, again, as I said, that photosynthesis by green plants is the most important and major activity for maintaining the carbon dioxide content constant. That's why it is being said everywhere that plant more and more trees so that more and more carbon dioxide of the atmosphere can be consumed, right? So as I said that it is the appropriate composition of the Earth's atmosphere which makes the life possible on Earth. Earth is having 21% of oxygen, 0.3% of carbon dioxide. On the other hand, if you talk about the planets like Venus and Mars, they contain about 95 to 97% of carbon dioxide. So how the life can be possible over there? And if you look at the layers of atmosphere, Starting from the earth, there are various layers of atmosphere. The first, the bottommost layer is troposphere. Then there is stratosphere. After stratosphere, there is mesosphere, then ionosphere, and then finally there is exosphere. But the part of Earth's atmosphere to which we interact most is the troposphere. So if you look at the importance of atmosphere, so as you know, atmosphere is acting as protective covering. It is acting as protective covering for Earth. Why? You must have heard about stratosphere. In a stratosphere, there is a covering called ozone layer, and this ozone layer protects the Earth from getting exposed to the harmful ultraviolet radiations emitted by the sun. So, the details of this ozone layer we will be discussing later on. But right now you must know that stratosphere contains ozone layer, and this ozone layer protects the Earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiation of the sun. In this way it acts as a protective covering. Another important function of atmosphere is it acts as blanket of Earth, or you can say it acts as an insulating covering of Earth, which helps the Earth to make its temperature or to keep its temperature constant during daytime or nighttime. At a given point on Earth or at a given place on Earth, we don't see a great variation of temperature during daytime or nighttime, which can make the life difficult over there. So the temperature of the Earth's surface is almost kept constant throughout the time, whether day or night, and that is because of the role of the Earth's atmosphere. So how it acts? As you know, Earth is a bad conductor of heat. So during daytime, it doesn't allow the excessive heat of sun to enter the Earth's atmosphere, and also in night time, it does not allow the heat reflected by the Earth to get escape out in the external space. So in this way, this atmosphere is acting as blanket and is providing insulation against the severe changes in temperature, and because of which you know that life is possible on Earth. If you see the case of moon where there is no atmosphere, the temperature ranges from minus 190 degree Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. During nights, due to absence of atmosphere, the temperature of the moon goes up to minus 190 degree, and during daytime, again because of absence of atmosphere, the temperature of moon goes as high as 110 degree. So with such a huge temperature variation, the life is not possible on Earth. So that's why you have seen the Earth's atmosphere is acting as an insulating covering or blanket for the Earth, making the life possible on Earth. And when we talk about atmosphere, when we talk about air, the another form of air which provides us a very pleasant effect and relief, and that form of air is known as wind. So winds are what? You can say the winds are caused due to horizontal movement of air. So horizontal movement of air is called the wind, and it is the difference in the speed of this movement which can make this movement to be pleasant in the form of a wind, or it may take the form of a storm or hurricane if the speed of wind is so high that it can be destructive, so that it becomes hurricane or a storm. Otherwise, there is a gentle breeze which we enjoy. So, if we look at the cause of the wind, why winds are caused? The basic cause of the wind is due to uneven heating of Earth's surface. So what happens that the different parts of the earth have different thermal conductivities, so that their extent of getting heated is also different, and this heating effect, difference in heating, it causes the wind. Say here one part of the earth which is hot because it has absorbed more heat, and here this part is comparatively cold. So as this part is hot, so the air over here will become warm, will rise up, and due to this upward movement of air, there develops a region of low pressure. But here in this case where the temperature was low, so here air does not rise up, and here it is a region of high pressure. As you know, it is the property of air or gases to diffuse from a region of high pressure to low pressure. So the air in this way diffuses from region of high pressure to low pressure, and that results in formation of winds. And the same factor occurs when the winds are created in coastal areas. If you talk about coastal areas, say here it is the water body or the sea, and here it is the land, the sandy area. So what happens during daytime? As the land heats up faster as compared to water, so this part is warm, and here in this region the air rises up, and here what happens, the region is cool, and as it is warm, it is having what? It is having low pressure, and here as it is cold, so it is having high pressure, and obviously the air will move from high pressure to low pressure, causing winds from sea to land during daytime. And if you look at the night times, so in night times what happens? As water is a bad conductor of heat, then what happens? It emits out the heat slowly, whereas here the land being good conductor of heat, it emits out the heat fastly. So this time you can see the air above sea is hotter, so that there is a region of low pressure, and here this air above the land is cold, so that there is a region of high pressure, and that's why during night the air moves from land to sea. So this is how the winds are created in coastal areas during night time, right? So what are the factors that affect the wind pattern? And what are these factors? Of course, uneven heating. First one. Another one is rotation of earth on its axis. Another one is presence of mountain range. In the path of the wind, so that the direction of wind flow can be diverted. And another one is vaporization and condensation of water vapors, right? So this way you have seen how the atmosphere is acting as a very important natural resource for fulfilling our basic requirements, and what are the importance and significance of this atmosphere, and how winds are created, and what are the other factors that are responsible for controlling the wind pattern. In next lecture, we'll see some more interesting details about these natural resources. Have a nice time. Goodbye to all of you.